So I need to tell you that I wrote my portion of this reflection while at the beach. I need to tell you that because you should know that it is hard to write a social justice sermon at the beach. You could even say there's no justice in it. At the beach, everything is fine. Cool breeze, a warm, not too hot sun, and the lazy sound of powerful waves, kids playing on their own. Everything was fine, and I was at ease. And there were some minor discomforts, but I had everything that I needed, and if I didn't, I could get it with just a very little effort. More than that, I had an abundance of satisfaction that comes with happily dozing in the blessings far beyond my needs. And the truth is, I have always had such blessings. Almost always, but even in times of struggle, I have been blessed by birth with a number of abilities and assumptions upon which, with just a little bit of work and intention, I could graft a really, all things considered, very comfortable life. I was born a healthy white male to a middle upper class family in the liberated West of an empire that celebrated all of those designations. I'm not saying that I didn't earn some things along the way from hard work, and I'm not saying that I didn't learn some things along the way from screwing up. And I'm not saying that I've never lost what I've had and had to work to get some of it back. But whatever fall I had was cushioned, and whatever heights I achieved were accelerated by fate. And honestly, I don't feel very apologetic for that. Though there is some cultural inheritance there that could certainly warrant apology. But I'm not sorry fundamentally for being me. I'm deeply grateful for it, and I think that acknowledging my blessings and my advantages and my privileges is not the same as being ashamed of them, but acknowledging them helps. It turns out it's not the final step, by the way. Rather, it's the first step. Acknowledging our blessings, observing ourselves is the first step toward gratitude. And gratitude is a lens through which, a theological lens, in fact, through which we could enter into justice work, I think, or at least see into justice work. But here's the thing. Gratitude is not enough. Our principles are solid, but not enough. In the same way, gratitude can wind up being quite self-serving. Gratitude, like good intentions, can go to waste unless there is physical and effortful connection made, a relationship established, and work, actual work, enjoined. Now that work could be through labor, it could also be through financial assistance, it could be through promoting a certain set of values, but work. All right, so I've lived a privileged life, and by the way, I'm generally representative of Unitarian Universalists. From a socioeconomic point of view, it is no surprise whatsoever that I am here today. And the same is quite likely true for many of us. And Richard grappled with this in his reflections somewhat, right? For us, we're all on the beach. It's hard to get concerned about doing justice work when you're chilling out and everything is groovy for you, where you are, right? It's hard to get up off of that warm sand and off of that life of ease and throw yourself into the tumult of the waves. And the ocean's cold. So, from our rather comfortable and generally unoppressed beach mat, how do we muster the will and authenticity to engage in social justice action? That is, by the way, not in and of itself another manifestation of our patriarchy. It's a tricky question. It's actually a three-part question, and I think I have the answer to two of those parts. Our patriarchy, I think, will be undone by listening to others. Our authenticity is found by observing ourselves. This gets back to that sort of acknowledgement of privilege. Not a shame of it, but an acknowledgement of it. Observing ourselves in our context. Listening to others. And then we get to the part about will. And as to what that will looks like and how it manifests, I didn't write that part of this sermon. I left that for you to write. I mean, I hear our good intentions quite loudly. I hear our hopes for fairness and for justice. I hear the quickened beatings of good hearts whenever we talk about justice. Our intentions, I am 100% clear on. I'm very sure of them. But I'm not sure of the actual work, of actually bringing our principles into theological and deep-seated, in the blood relevance to our acting in the world. I'm not sure how we are serving our oppressed brothers and sisters and ecosystem. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Let's just say our action is a lot less obvious than our intentions. So that means one of two things. Either we need to do it in such a way that it's more obvious if what you're doing or if you're working for justice, make it obvious. We need that inspiration. Or we actually need to do something. And then make that obvious. It's just so easy to be on the beach, right? It's hard to want to get in the cold, tumultuous waters. And I've sort of also, reflecting there on justice at the beach, come up with a very rough metaphor that I want to leave you with today. So you can go to the next slide, Ricky. Yeah. So you're on the beach and you're alone. You could enter the water, and because this is what I did every day for the past week, I got in the water and I sat there and got pushed around by the waves, right? And it was fun. But in the analogy I'm presenting, this is not fun. Pretend it's not fun. Because you get pushed around by the wave. You're not going to drown, right? If you leap into the justice effort by yourself, you won't drown. You have the flexibility and the endurance to stay above the water, right? But in order to actually master the waves of justice, you need some help. And that help comes in the form of the grounding of our principles and the shaping of that grounding, of that material in our community. So you take our community, put them in principles, and that gives you the buoyancy to surf the waves of justice. It's not a great analogy, but it's all I got. I was at the beach. The one other thing about the beach that I want to leave you with is this. It's a hopeful statement, actually, and that is that while I was at the beach is there for everybody, and everybody comes to the beach. It is one of the most diverse places you could possibly be, and everybody is availing it of them for themselves in the same good spirit. So there is that possibility and abundance available to us as well. I think if we enter into well, no, I won't say that. I'm not going to say that. Anyway, we need to observe ourselves, listen to others, engage our principles with one another, and then what that looks like is up to you.